peeps, how's it going? I know it's been a while since I made a video, and I just felt like it's time. And God's been showing me like that I need to make one about forgiveness, and forgiveness is a really powerful weapon, especially when you've been through some stuff, you've been hurt, somebody's done something to you, somebody's done something to somebody you know. Forgiveness is a big deal. It's something that helps with deliverance. It's something that helps you break free from a lot of things. I've heard stories of people who didn't get healing because they're holding unforgiveness. I've heard stories where pastors said they went to pray for somebody and God told them not to pray for them because they're not ready to forgive somebody. Their reasoning is, well, you don't know what they did. You don't know what they said to me. You don't know what they did to my family. And you know what? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what's happened or what they've done or who they talked to or rumors they said. I'm telling you, forgiveness is a total key into not only changing the way you see things, but it also does something in the spirit for them. You know, like some people don't even know they did anything wrong or said anything, or they don't realize the problems they've caused by, you know, making you angry or doing something to somebody you know. Or it's just something that you need to learn to do without expecting anything in return. And a lot of times you're not going to get an apology for something that somebody else has done to you. They might be living their best life and moving on and doing their thing, and you're the only one sitting there holding on like a backpack, carrying it around. Like every time you think of them, every time you hear their name, every time you see somebody who talks to them, it's like all this anger and bitterness and hatred and whatever keeps coming back up. And it's like, how do I let that go? Like, they did so many shady things. Maybe they were somebody who was on drugs and they stole from you and they stole things from you. Well, or they hurt somebody, they stole your kid's piggy bank, who knows what they did. Broke into your house. I mean, there's a lot of things people do, and really we have no control over that. But what we do have control of is forgiveness. We can still forgive them, and you may not want to. You may hate them with all your might, and you know what Jesus said, if you don't forgive them, he can't forgive you. So take that into consideration. Also, he said, you know, if you hate your brother or sister and you come and try to worship me, like, it's like your offering is worth nothing. Go make things right with your family and then come back and bring my offering. And not only that, you'll gain your family back. So I know, like, people have a lot of resentment towards certain people, their parents, their whoever. But until you make things right with them, or you might not even have to technically go up to them and say something to them. Maybe they passed away, but you know what? If you forgave them, if you still in your heart keep trying to forgive them, and sometimes you need to say it over and over, I forgive them for this, I forgive them for that. Maybe you should ask God, like, what is it I need to forgive them for? And God will show you, because he wants you free from that stuff too. And they may be gone, maybe they moved out of state or out of the country or wherever they are, and you're still thinking about all the things they've done to you, well, the only person it's hurting is you. So you can ask God, like, Father God, what is it I need to forgive them for? Who do I need to forgive? And what do I need to forgive them for? Like, those are big keys in setting and getting you freedom and letting you have peace in your life. And then when you deal with them or their name or whatever that has to do with them, it's not going to affect you anymore. It's not going to bother you to the extreme that it used to when you didn't forgive them, you know? I've had these issues. I've dealt with a lot of people who had like issues against me for no reason. Maybe their reason was valid. Maybe I did do something or say something, but I can't think of a time where I just said I'm never going to forgive them. I forgive it. I try to forgive people right away. Even if somebody bumps into me and says they're sorry, I just say I forgive you. And it's just became a habit like that, where I just forgive people right away because I know those keys of deliverance. I know, like, if you don't forgive somebody, how do you expect Jesus to forgive you? Like, I know the enemy uses that stuff. And he's like, look, they didn't forgive that person. That person said this or did that. And they're, that's his open door to do something because you hold unforgiveness. Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want him to have any open doors, any keys, anything. Don't give him authority in your life. You just need to cut ties with those people that you are holding something over. It's only going to benefit you. And it doesn't mean you have to be their best friend. I mean, it's possible it could happen, but you don't have to have them involved in your whole life, you know? There's people that done things to me at church. There's people who've said things to me. There's people who, just shady people that stole from me or done something, and I always ask God, like, do I need to forgive somebody? Like, do I need to forgive them for something? What is it I need to forgive them for? Because I don't want to hold that, and I don't want to think the worst every time I think of them. And it just makes me think of, like, let's say, like, people playing a sport that you love. Maybe it's football, maybe it's baseball, and there's a team you're all for. And then the other team they're playing messes them up, or somebody gets injured in your team, and you're sitting there cursing that person for doing that, or that team. Oh, I hope you lose, or whatever it is. Well, that's bad. Like, Jesus said it, when you hate somebody, that's murder. So to hate another person or hate another team or hate anybody, and just think of all the people watching, like either somebody's blessing them or cursing them. Now, how heavy is that they would have to carry that stuff? And they don't know every person that's doing that, but in the spirit, God sees it. And like, what you don't see is all these people watching, cursing that person. Their spirits are going over there and attacking that person for no reason. It's just a dumb game. Well, maybe it's serious to you, but I just see it like it's not that serious. But what if we, instead of cursing them or whatever, we bless them? We forgive them and we bless them. I forgive them for saying that. I forgive those people for attacking my favorite team and for defeating them, or for, you can sit there and forgive people, and it's only going to help you. I could tell you a couple of stories. I had an aunt who was really angry all the time, and I mean, now after years and years, like, I learned that she was carrying a lot of heavy stuff to where, it scarred her for life. Like, it wasn't things she could just easily let go. And I want to say she held a lot of unforgiveness for a long time. And I feel like God had to deal with her in so many ways. But I don't think that she was ever really free. Like, she didn't have a lot of peace. Like, she would always start fights with people and try to control everyone. And it's not, like, I see it like it wasn't her fault. It's just circumstances of things that happened in her life to where she felt like she needed to control people to feel peace. Like, she couldn't let somebody in unless she was able to control like what they did or how they were involved, things like that. Like, it happens. I've seen it. I've seen that happen with her, and I've seen it with other people trying to order you around and tell you what to do because that's the only way they're going to let you be in their life, which is sad that it has to be like that. But there's no reason why, we just have a free will, and we don't have to let people control us like that. We can have our own boundaries. We're like, okay, I know you're dealing with something, and you're not going to tell me how to live my life or do what I do just so you can feel better about your life or something. I don't know. I don't understand it all the time, but I still forgive them. And it may not be the way they want it to be, but you still gotta have boundaries. Like, you can't let people walk all over you just so they can feel better about what it is they're doing. This aunt I had, she used to get mad at everybody, stop talking to everybody, not let them call her or go to her house. And it was sad because my grandma lived there. So if she was mad at you and you were dead to her, and she would tell you this, then you couldn't see grandma either. You couldn't go to her house, you couldn't call. She would have a block on your number. Nobody could call. She would change the number. She'd do a lot of crazy things just to make sure she had control of the situation. And as sad as that seemed, I just remember having a deliverance type of night once on a Tuesday, I want to say. And then I was going somewhere out of town on the weekend, and when I spent hours. It turned out to be the whole session, the whole prayer session was about her, like forgiving her for a lot of things she did since I was a kid. And I didn't even know she did anything bad. I always thought she was like my favorite aunt. But I started realizing, like, God, she did do a lot of evil things to me, and I didn't realize how bad it was, or it was like I made excuses for her, because I loved her so much. Well, after spending like maybe 2 hours of forgiving her for things, for a lot of things she did, I got a text from her that Friday when I was in the other place I was in Vegas, actually, out of town, going to a wedding. And she sent me this really long text telling me how she was sorry, she wanted to visit my church, she's sorry for saying that we were dead to her, like that kind of thing, and she wanted to make things right and all this stuff. And I thought, that is so crazy. Like, God worked fast. But he does. And that's the power of forgiveness. Unforgiveness goes a long way when you can't let something go. It causes bitterness, it causes sickness, it causes a lot of bad things. But when you just start forgiving them, you can have so much peace. I can tell you another story. One time I got in an argument on the phone with somebody, and this was years ago, And this, I was so angry at this person. I hung up on them. I couldn't even let them talk. And it was somebody at my church, or somebody I went to church and knew there at the time. And I just remember the next day when I went to work, God told me I need to forgive them. And so I spent so much time that day just forgiving them over and over for everything I could think of, and just asking God, like, what else do I have to forgive them for? What else do I have to? And just sitting there forgiving them for this, for that, for everything I could think of. And I just got to a point where I couldn't think of anything anymore. And then I was okay about it. Like, it was just like, you know what? It doesn't even matter anymore. I let it all go. Well, when I saw them at church on Sunday, they flipped out on me, told me off, cursed me out, all this stuff. And I thought, like, why are they so angry? I already forgave them. Like, they didn't let me say anything. I was just like, okay, what? Like, I just let them go off because I wasn't even mad anymore. I was just like at peace with everything. And I'm sure if I didn't spend that time forgiving them, it would have turned into like a fight or something. It would have turned into like, a whole ordeal. And really, they just made a spectacle of themselves, because I wasn't mad at all anymore. I mean, that's how it goes. Like, it changes your whole attitude about somebody. It changes your whole, way of thinking, your perspective about somebody, because you've already dealt with it, you've already let it go. And now, if they want to do that too, they can do it on their own. Like, you don't even have to confront them unless God puts that in your heart to go make things right, or I've heard people say, like, they felt like they needed to tell somebody or straighten things out, and God's done that to me too. Like, go talk to them, let them know this is what it was, this is what's going on. And when I have done that kind of thing, like, God has showed me like how they lied about a lot of things, and it wasn't even anything that was true. But I feel like lying's a defense mechanism, and maybe they thought I would never find out or never confront anybody to know what the truth was. Wild, right? Anyways, back to forgiveness. So other things are like just hating somebody. I mean, think of like maybe you went through a divorce, right? Maybe your ex did something really shady. Maybe they cheated on you. Maybe they left you for somebody else. Maybe, they're not taking care of their kids like they promised. Maybe it's like a lot of things. Maybe they got everything and you got nothing. Maybe you both invested in a business and they got the business. I don't know what the situation is. Maybe they had all this money saved and they had it put somewhere else and you weren't able to get anything. I don't know, but all I can say is, like, spending a lot of time forgiving them. Maybe it's even their new spouse or their new boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is. Maybe it's dealing with that, like they the new person's being rude or evil or just acting like a jerk or whatever. Well, start forgiving them for things. Like, forgive them for saying certain things. It doesn't mean you have to be their best friend. It doesn't mean you have to be walked all over. All it means is you're not holding them accountable for the way they act. And when you see people the way God does, it makes it easier to forgive them and not like not be mad about things they do or the way they act, because a lot of times it's a spirit working behind them. Like trying to make you mad, trying to cause drama, trying to start a fight, trying to make you, bitter or angry about something. And if you catch it right from the beginning, like, that's not my thought, I didn't think that, I have to do that a lot. And thank God my kids are grown up now, but like changing your perspective and the way you see things and what people do, it helps you see people the way God does, and it makes it easier to forgive them, if you know what I mean. Like, forgiving people isn't always easy, but it's beneficial, and it helps you to be free. You need freedom and you need peace. And after you spend time asking God who you need to forgive, I've been involved in a lot of different ministries to learn something about forgiveness, like deliverance, inner healing, healing rooms, prophetic ministry, lots of things. And one of the biggest things I see is people carrying unforgiveness. It's like the biggest thing, and it's the biggest deal. And when you learn how to let stuff go, you're going to be free. You're going to feel lighter. It's going to be easier to deal with people when you forgive them. And I know a lot of people are angry about, our government, things happening or whatever. Start forgiving them. It's not super hard, because it's not like you know them personally, and all the hatred and stuff you have, it's not from God. And if you want to see a change or a breakthrough or healing or anything, let your prayers be heard by starting with forgiveness. Start forgiving people first, and then start asking God for things. Like, he's gonna be like, wait a minute, you didn't forgive that for that. You didn't forgive that person for this. Like, make things right. Go forgive them first. And if it feels like you're just saying it and you're not really doing it, say it over and over and over. Keep doing it until you partner with it. It's gonna change so many things. And even your attitude about things. I just want to encourage you about forgiveness, and I want to pray for you, and let's just have you repeat after me. So, Father God, I surrender all these people to the foot of the cross that I haven't even forgave yet. And I pray that you would help me to forgive them, and you would show me who they are, and that you would just teach me how to be more forgiving when somebody does something bad or something wrong to me personally, or somebody I know. Show me how to love people the way you love them. And Father, what will you give me in exchange for that? Wait a little bit and see what he gave you, because he gives you something, and I feel like he wants to give you peace. So just keep trying. His mercies are new every day, and he's always doing a new thing. And I just hope this helped you somehow, and I'll make another video when God tells me to. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.